Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. So in this video, I am going to discuss about the Dataverse in Power Apps, or we can say the Dataverse in Power Platform. So this is the a storage, cloud-based storage that is used to store and manage the business application data in Power Platform. So you will be able to connect with the Excel, SharePoint, any other type of cloud platforms, even SQLs, even Power BI. All types of connectors are there to use with the data from those sources into the Power Apps. Still, if you want to build the model driven applications or the enterprise grade applications, so you should choose the Dataverse. And what if your the data is sitting in the other sources? So yes, you can create a data flow so that Dataverse get updated and you will be able to use the Dataverse data into your analysis. So let's understood why and what is the Dataverse and why we need it and what and all things are there that we need to go through. So Dataverse allows you to securely store and manage the data. Data within the Dataverse is stored as a set of tables, and obviously table is a set of rows and columns. So we are pretty much familiar with the table and all how this works, and right. So data verse it can be used with the Power Automate. It can be used in the, I mean, the data from the Dataverse can be used in the Power Pages, Power Apps, Power BI, everywhere. And why we need the Dataverse? Though we have a SQL database also, right? So just think that there is a one business, and it can generate a data of any type. It can be of file type, it can be of text type, it can be of numerical type, or it can be of any other type data. So Dataverse is going to hold all those data in the form of table. So like SQL, it's not like that it can store the structured data only. It can store the unstructured, semi-structured kind of data into the Dataverse, and that will be again in the form of columns. So that specific column is going to hold that specific type of data. So we will see how to create that and all. So if you want to load the data into the Dataverse from the external sources, so you will be able to use Power Query Editor as an data flow. So we will explore what is data flow in Power Platform, right? So now, why Dataverse? If you ask me why Dataverse, so there are several reasons. Okay, it can work with any type of data. So nowadays, data is everything a business does, and obviously, business needs to create insights based on the data to take the decisions. And data could be of any type. So Dataverse is a platform that can handle the any type of data, any type of, meaning Dataverse is just designed to work with any type of data, such as relational data, non-relational data, files, images, search data, like everything. Any kind of data can be handled in the Dataverse. Even this can be used, I mean, the Dataverse can be used as an data source with any type of application. It can be used with the desktop, web, mobile, and Microsoft Teams like applications. It can be used with the Dynamics 365. Even Dataverse provide a powerful REST APIs, and it provided developer SDK that um, even I can say a growing list of sample common scenarios. So that will be referred as a standard table. So let me open the data was first for you so that you will be able to understood, right? So why data was, there are several reasons, and this is the terminology. So earlier entity and entities were called, so now it is called like tables. The fields or attributes is nothing but columns and columns. Then records and records is nothing but rows and rows. Then option sets, even multi-selects, option sets, kind of pick list, kind of words were there or terminology was there. So those are changed to choice and choice, and two options like toggle button. So you have yes and no. Right. So working with table. So let's understood what are the types of tables are there in this data bus. If you come to the Power Apps platform and if you click on this, you will see the list of tables here. Right. So whenever you create a table, that created table is nothing but your custom tables. Right. So how you will identify like here, if you go, so data type, sorry, not a data type, the table type here is standard whenever the table is created by the user, right? And then tags for that table is custom, right? So if I have to speak about the standard and standard, you will be able to see if I click on the recommended, you can see type is standard, even tag is standard for the standard table, right? If there is an activity table, meaning if you are going to track the appointment, obviously someone, you will book the appointment or you will create meeting in the, let's say, in the teams, right? So that is the activity. So that kind of data can be stored in the activity table. So that standard type of the table is activity, and the standard tag is not a standard, it should be a productivity, because it is used to measure something like this, we can say. Then this is how they have categorized, this is how they have categorized even mailbox, the configuration, right? So this is how they added the tags. You can see that there is a one standard table. This will give you the details about the system user. So this table is linked with the Azure active directory users, meaning all the employees from your company. All the attributes related to the employees are available here. Okay, if I open this, you will be able to see the list of employees here. Active, inactive, whatever will be there. But yes, it will be listed here. Right. So total 142 rows are there. So few are just based on the requirement. This comes from the Microsoft default. Okay, for the different purposes, they have standard email IDs also. Right. So if I want to search for myself, okay, if I go and if I search for the webchamp, I'm able to search. Okay, name is not a webchamp, it's in email. So name, okay, let me go back and let me filter by, and let me type my name. Okay, it should show. May this display name maybe something else. Let me go to the another column where I can show you this. So primary email address. If I search here, might be I was searching for the wrong keyword. Okay, Sorry, my bad. I'm using the wrong filter. It should not be equals, it should be contains. Right. And yes, so this is how, okay, it's there. I was wrong to select the type of filter or filter of condition, I can say. Right. So this is how the standard tables are already created or already available in the Dataverse. You can use them directly into your applications. Okay, let me clear my drawing. Fine. So now the thing is, what are the different types of tables are there in Dataverse? So first one is a standard table. Discussed about it. There are several tables, also known as out of box table, are included with the Power Platform environment that include the Microsoft Dataverse. Account, business unit, contact, task, user tables are the example of standard table. I shown you how to identify standard table in the Dataverse. Right. So most of standard tables are included with the Dataverse can be customized. So most of the tables can be customized. Tables that are imported as a part of managed solution and set as a customizable also appear as a standard table. So this is the another condition. Tables that are imported as a part of managed solution. So definitely we will be able to discuss in future what is managed and unmanaged solution. So this when we speak on when I'll speak on this solutions, business solutions, that time I'll discuss what is the managed versus unmanaged. So for the sake of understanding purpose, what I can do is I can say managed solution is a locked version of customizable or customization, meaning the tables which are locked. In managed solution, you will not be able to edit like this, or we can say the published version like this. Okay, set as a customizable also appear as a standard table. Okay, any other user, meaning any users with the appropriate privilege can customize this. Okay, not other. I supposed to say user. So any user with appropriate privilege, meaning if you have a permission to customize the table, you will be able to customize the table. Otherwise, you are supposed to use that table as it is. Then there is something called activity table, are the special kind of table, and the best for rows that have an activity based element which can include a subject, start time, stop time, due date, duration, kind of, meaning as I said, the activity is like meeting scheduled between two peoples, or between, it can be scheduled between team. Dataverse already comes with the several out of box activity tables such as appointment, task, email, and phone call. So emails can be tracked here direct, right? Then table define the information that, okay, this is the first one, that information that you want to track in the form of rows. That is the definition of a table. Next type of table is a virtual table. Okay, now let's understood what is a virtual table. So there may be a possibility. There may be a possibility that the data remains at the source if the data is very large, for example. So we can create that table or that source as a table in the Dataverse as an virtual table. So we will add the table when you need the table to be populated with the data from an external source outside of the Dataverse. You will be able to use that table as a part of Dataverse, but the data will be always in the its original data source, right? So data stored in the data source, you can see in the virtual table, it is no, and it real-time integration with the other systems. Okay, best for IoT and all is just elastic tables. We can say high volume, scalable. So elastic tables are for when the table will store a very large data set, more than 10 millions of rows. Then we will say that that is like a elastic table, right? So how to create a table? Okay, that is the theory is important, but yes, we will understood most of the things while we perform. So let's go and create a table in the data was, right? You can create a table either by using Copilot. You can start with a blank table. You can create a table with Excel, and it can be created with the SharePoint list also. So let me discuss few examples. Okay, so let's start with this. And I would like to write a prompt here to create a table. So I will say create a table. Okay, and the example I can take here is like I can just say pizza orders, or pizza orders from different from different outlet different outlets with minimum, or we can say that uh, and add 10 columns with 50 rows of sample data, right? So now let me generate this. So it will create a table for the practice purpose. It is very good. You can use the Copilot. You can write a prompt, and it will create a table, and it will give the things for you. Even you will be able to customize the table here also. You can write a prompt. You can edit the prompt here. Right. So this is how it has created a table. Right. So you can see the outlet name, city, the two tables it created. The Copilot has created, but that is fine. Uh, then order number. So it might be not possible. So I can say I want, or I need it in single table. Okay. So it will go and try to change if possible. So can you say that again, but this time be more specific? Merge both the merge both the tables into one table as a pizza orders. Any random example you can take? So not sure how it will merge, but hope it is just going to join the columns the way we perform the joins. Okay, merge out it. Merged outlet table into pizza order. Pizza order. Outlet lookup column has been replaced by the outlet column. Okay, fine. So let's refresh and see. Okay, so it is not merging, looks like. So let me go back. But this is the one way to create a table. Okay. And another way is you can start with the blank, right? You can give the name for the table. This is the interface to create a table. Then you will be able to define the relationship. You will be able to add this modeling. For the modeling purpose, you will be able to add the existing tables and all. So now let's say this is my pizza order table. Okay. So now let us discuss what and all the types of data it supports. Right. Here, the first column, I will say this is the new column, and display name for this column is order number. Right. Order number, it should be in a it should be either in number or text. So let me pick this as a text, and then you can change the type of text also, like this email or phone number or text area or the symbols or URL, right? Then in advanced option you will be able to define this schema name. So sometimes these names are used in Power Apps to uh, work with the tables. Most of the times this display names will work, but there may be a situation that you are supposed to use this schema names and all, right? And you can say update. So we have created a table. So I will say ORD1, or instead of this 00001. Okay, this is what my order number. Now let me add. You can add new row. You can add new column. You can add row ownership. This is the here you can see your ownership type: row owned by user or team, row owned by organization. So you can define the role based accesses from here. Okay. There are a couple of things that we will discuss when the role based access we are going to define for the data was. Properties of the table you can edit. So if you want to add row, if you want to add column, you can select new row or new column. So I'm going to say select here order, and then let me say order number. Then I can say pizza description, whatever you will select, what type of pizza you want and all. So it should be single line, and then format should be text area. But instead of this, I would like to use like text area or plain text. So here in the text, because still this is fine. Okay, so let's select the other type, description and all, the text and all. Instead of that, I will say customer name. Okay, I'm just selecting a random column. It's not we are going to build the app on this data and all. So in the customer name or customer, okay, you can say text, and you can make this as a required, and advanced options are there. Then let's say this is the name of the customer. The next new column is like contact numbers. So you can define what type of data you want to hold here, whether it should be in a number. So obviously, no contact number should be in text, where we are not going to perform any kind of aggregation. So we don't need that uh, column in the numerical type, but we can define the format should be of phone number. Again, this is required, obviously, to whom we are going to, or how we can contact to the customer, right? So contact number. Then if I go and if I select here the text, here I can say address for the delivery purpose, and you can use the text area here. Even we have a address table separate, right? So we can use that table also. but we will see when we will go and create the model application. Okay, so let model driven application. So let me say email, and email is also required. The new column. So here, if I go text, inside the text, we saw a couple of parameters are there. In the numerical, you can select the duration or time, or then a language code, float, decimal. This is what, then date time, right? So I can say, you can see, define date time type, and then date only, or date and time only, whatever you want. So I will say order date, right? So in this case, when you have a column like this, when the user create a new data, you don't need this data to be a field from the application. This should, when new row gets added, so this should get automatically populated. Okay, so let's say numerical, date only, then choice and currency. Okay, so that is possible when we use the applications, right? So now display name, and let me pick the other type of data. Okay, lookup is something when you have two tables in a relationship, you can use. Choice type data, you can say cheese bust or no, yes or no. This is again required. I don't want allow user to select. You can add new choice, and you can say, okay, you can say yes, you can say no here. The values, like this can be a unique values, but yeah, I can set the values for this 1 and 2. And default choice is yes, I'll keep 1, or I'll say no, I'll keep 2, right? The choice, and here required is not needed. Then the schema name, cheese burst and all, you can say save. Okay, so if you click on this, you will be able to see the drop down and all. Right, drop down and all. So this is how different type of data can be used in the Dataverse, right? So I'm not going to save this table. I'll again, I just wanted to show you how to create a table and all. Even you can create a table from the Excel also. So let me create with Excel or CSV. You can select the file from device. If I go to the download, and here, okay, let's select this CSV. Right, I just selected a CSV. That's it, nothing apart from that. It will create a schema and table and everything. Okay, include, and then I'll say import. Okay, so from this file, the records will be imported, and the new table as an employee will be creating. Okay, but it is going to import it in the SharePoint list. So if I say view data, let me check, is there anything in that data? Or it's just a blank? Okay, there is nothing. Okay, that's why it is not showing anything. It since this is a CSV, it is fine. This should not this much time. Okay, so let me say leave and discard. Let me start once again. Okay, and then select the file. Let me define the file first. What file should I use? Or if I go to the OneDrive, here is my employee leave data. Okay, I'll pick this file. Let me go to the OneDrive and employee leave data, and let me pick so right now I picked the Excel file, and import an Excel or CSV. I'm going to import here. So it is importing. That's why it is not showing any column and all. So you need to wait until this import gets finished. Okay, not sure why this is not working. This interface may be down. Otherwise, this should work. Okay, let me leave and discard. But this is the one way to create a table. Even I did created a couple of tables in the past, but this is not working now. Even you can create a SharePoint list, create with a SharePoint list. If you have a SharePoint list, you can create that. So this is how the tables will get created. I created this table by loading the Excel. Right. So when you come to the table, okay. So this is not created by loading Excel. I created using the prompt because these fields are coming from the Copilot only. Copilot prompt. Okay, fine. So if you want to view the full table, you can click on the additional row. If you want to add rows, you can add rows. If you want to go, this is the table properties. Okay, you will be able to edit properties here, and even you can say edit the table. Then if you want to create application, you can create application, and using this table, you can import data with data flow in this table or import data from Excel. So you will be able to do that also. Right, then export the data. Okay, do we have okay import and import data from Excel? So like this, okay, still this is also choose the entity that you wants to import. Okay, so you can select, but this is not what I don't want to do. So I thought we may be able to. You can even export the data from the table. So those things are possible. Let's go back to the employee table. Here, if you want to see the schema, you can see all the relationships, all the keys, and all the columns from a table, right? Then data experiences, you will be able to uh, go to the forms, views, charts, and dashboards created on this. So all these things will be here. You can go. So we can do this all these things in the Dataverse, right? So we will explore the things later, not today. So then you will be able to do a customization. You will be able to add the validation for the data. Then you can pass the command, and then row summary can be generated. Right. But yeah, so you can do many things, and yes, you will be able to create an application with the data vars, right? So if you are able to create a table, so we will see how to work with the relationship and what are the different relationship behaviors. So what is mean by referential parent and custom relationship, and what is mean by the referential integrity, even what and all kind of different meaning. See, you can define the relationship between types of relationship between tables. So defining a relationship is not a big thing, but understanding the relationship between tables is very important. So you will be able to define the relationship, that how rows in a one tables are associated with rows in another table. it enables the data structure or structured data modeling, cascading behavior, and efficient querying across the tables. Okay, fine. So one to many, many to one, and many to many relationship is there. Many one to one relationship will not be there in Dataverse, right? So you can define this relationship using the lookup columns. So when you create a column, you will be able to see there is something called lookup. So let me open this. I have not saved any table, but yeah, I can open the existing table and I can show you. If I try to add this, and if I go to the here, if I say lookup, so this is the data type that can be used to define the relationship between tables. So we will see how we can define that in later videos. Many to one, one to many, and many to many relationship can be defined. Then there is something called referential behavior. So let's say if you want to delete the child table. Okay, so let's understood this in different way. So here there is a something called parent table. Okay, so and there is something called child child table. But the way it has in SQL and all. So here we will have the many records. Here in this will be parent table is nothing but a primary key table. So we will have the one record for each of the specific entity details, right? So if you create a relationship between these, if you define the relationship between parent and child table, and if you want to do something when the parent data gets deleted, so what kind of things you want to do, right? Either you will go and delete the parent, but you don't want child table to be affected. So you can use the referential integrity. So differential, meaning the differential. Okay, so when you will go and use the referential, so when there is a situation that you are going to delete the data from parent table, but you don't want to delete the data from the child table. Okay, you will go and select the parental relationship when the user or assigning delete a record from parent table, it should go and delete all the records from the child table for that record, right? So this is how association rules, the relationship behavior, we can say, can be used. And then there is something called custom also. So you will be able to customize this behavior by defining a specific rule for delete, assign, and share, right? So we will, yeah, definitely we will discuss everything. We are just seeing introduction here, what we can do, what we can't do. And yeah, so key principles about the referential integrity. So foreign key in one table must match primary key in another table or be null. You cannot delete parent record if related child record exists. So unless the cascading delete is enabled. Okay, so the customization is something going to work here. Then you cannot insert a child record with reference to non-existing existent parent. So this is what the way we have a primary and foreign key in SQL database. Similarly, we have a parent and child relationship in Dataverse. This enforces through the lookup columns and relationship behavior like referential, parent, and custom. Right. So we will end up defining that when we will create the multiple related tables at that time. Then what kind of operations you can perform? So on the data in the Dataverse, so you can create, add a new record. You will be able to retrieve the data, view or query existing records. So you will be able to do that. Then update modify existing record, delete, remove the record from the table, upsert, create, or update based on the existence. Okay. Even associate or disassociate. So link or unlink related records via relationship. Associate, and meaning this is what called association. Relationship is nothing but association. So you can link and unlink. Right. So all these things can be done, but yeah, not directly. So these things can be, meaning these all these things, all these type of operations can be performed using either a Power Apps or Power Automate Flows or Web APIs or SDK for .NET, or there are tools like Fetch XML Builder or SQL for CDS common data. Something is there in XRM toolbox, right? So these things are there. So this is the introduction about the Dataverse. I hope you like the content. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day. Do not forget to subscribe WebChamp and share the video with your friends.